swapped out a cheap HDMI cable for the Silkland 8K HDMI cable, and the difference was pretty noticeable enough that I had to stop and look twice. And that's coming from someone who thought, a cable was just a cable. Well, thanks to Silkland for sending this over to me for a video. When I started putting together a more serious home setup, TV, projector, PS5, I started noticing some cables were dropping the signals, causing handshake issues, or just not passing the full specs through. And that's when I started actually paying attention to what cable I was running. After running it across all three of my setups, I want to tell you what actually changed. 48 gigabits per second bandwidth, that's the full HDMI 2.1 spec, and it means this cable isn't a bottleneck for anything you throw at it. 8K at 60 Hz, 4K at 120 Hz, whether you're gaming on a PS5 at 4K 120 or running a projector at a high resolution. The Silkland handles it very well. Got Dolby Atmos pass-through, HDR10, HDCP 2.2 and 2.3, all supported and passing through cleanly. The ARC and eARC support, it's specifically useful for soundbar setups. If you've got a Vizio, a Samsung, a Bose soundbar, the eARC connection through the Silkland HDMI cable means your audio is traveling at the full quality it was meant to, rather than being compressed by a cable that can't handle the bandwidth. And that's the difference between Dolby Atmos that actually sounds like Dolby Atmos and audio that's just labeled that way. So here's the part I want to talk about the most, because this is where the Silkland 8K HDMI cable actually earned its place in my setup. When I was running a cheap cable on my TV, I was occasionally getting handshake issues, that black screen flicker when the display and the source are trying to negotiate the connection. Pretty annoying, it's inconsistent, and the kind of thing you just learn to live with until you realize you don't have to. Swap to the Silkland and that dropped completely. Solid connection every time. No negotiation flickering, just a clean locked in signal. As far as the PS5 running 4K at 120 Hz, the cheap cable I had before wasn't certified for the full bandwidth, and I was getting visual artifacts and fast motion scenes. Put the Silkland 8K HDMI cable in and that went away. Motion looked cleaner, colors held better in high contrast scenes, overall images felt stable. I know some people will say you can't see the difference, but trust me, when you're sitting in front of your setup and you go back and forth between the cables, the difference in a properly certified 48 gigabit cable versus something that isn't real and visible. So on the projector, the Silkland HDMI cable holds the signal cleanly at the resolution I'm running without any degradation or signal loss, which was an issue I had with the previous cable at the same cable length. And the Silkland HDMI cable is well built physically too. Braided cable that doesn't kink easily, connectors that feel solid when they seat into the port rather than that loose wobbly feeling you get from a cheaper cable. The strain relief on both ends is proper. The cable isn't going to start fraying where it meets the connector after a few months of use. So look, if you're running a PS5, a high-end TV, soundbar, a projector that supports eARC, the Silkland 8K HDMI cable is the cable you should actually be running, because the difference between this and a cheap uncertified cable is real, and once you've experienced a stable 48 gigabit connection, you're not going back to the flicker and artifacts of something that can't handle the bandwidth. It's a small upgrade, but it's a real impact on your entire viewing and gaming experience.
If you want to get your hands on this product, go ahead and click on the link in the description below and hit that subscribe button and never miss a review.
If you want to see more products like this, click this video right here. I think you'll like it.